Hello, I'm Sierra Hammack, and my informative speech is over the birth defect Down syndrome. Have you ever heard of the medical term Down syndrome? Ever wanted to know what it was or even what caused it, or the symptoms? Well, here you go. In 1866, the physical characteristics of people with Down syndrome were linked with decreased intellectual ability and grouped as one syndrome. The English physician John Down was the first to publish these findings. Due to the fact that the facial features of people with Down syndrome were similar to those of people from Mongolia, he used the term Mongoloid to refer to a person with what is now known as Down syndrome. It wasn't until 1959 that Dr. Jerome Lejeune, a French physician, made the discovery that Down syndrome was the result of abnormal chromosomes. His research led him to the fact that the cells of the person with Down syndrome had 47 chromosomes, whereas the cells of people without the syndrome only had 46. Just a little while after that, it was discovered that chromosome number 21 contained an extra partial or a complete chromosome, known as trisomy 21. The extra chromosome causes problems with the brain and the body development. Did you know that Down syndrome is the #1 leading birth defect? Down syndrome symptoms can vary from person to person. One person can have them really severe, while one person only has a mild case. The most common physical signs include decreased muscle tone at birth, excess skin at the nape of the neck, a flattened nose, separated joints between the bones and skull, single crease in the palm of the hand, small ears, small mouth, upward slanting eyes, wide, short hands with short fingers, and white spots on the colored part of the eye, which are known as brush-filled spots. Most children with Down syndrome seem to develop slower than other kids, and they may also have a short attention span, impulsive behavior, and may not learn as fast. Children with Down syndrome may tend to get embarrassed or frustrated with their birth defect and not accept it as well. While, on the other hand, some may look at themselves to be just like everyone else. A doctor can make a diagnosis of Down syndrome at birth based on how the baby looks. A blood test then can be done to check the chromosomes and confirm the diagnosis. Other tests can be done, such as an echocardiogram, which is usually done right after birth, an ECG, and x-rays of the chest and gastrointestinal tract. A person with Down syndrome should be closely watched for certain medical conditions. Eye and hearing tests, pap smears, and pelvic exams, but during puberty, and thyroid testing are a few common tests. There is no specific treatment for Down syndrome. A person with Down syndrome usually has to go to counseling. The whole family should learn as much as they can about the syndrome. When most people see a person with Down syndrome, the first thing they do is judge, and I do not think that should happen. Just because they look different doesn't mean anything. I babysat a boy with Down syndrome, and yes, he looked different than most of the kids, and he needed more attention and needed help, but he is one of the smartest kids I know, and he has such a great personality. He is very big into sports. His favorite is baseball, and he also enjoys roping. He has been in many rodeos and has won tons of belt buckles. His horse is by far his best friend. He is on the same track as any other kid his age, but he has a few speech problems. He's going to therapy for those, and they're getting better. Have you ever heard the saying, "You never judge a book by its cover"? Well, I personally believe that's correct. It's not what's on the outside, but it's what's on the inside that counts. If you know a person with Down syndrome, don't be afraid to bond with them. They need friends just like everyone else. And trust me, they can definitely put a smile on your face. I encourage you to learn more about Down syndrome, or even take the time to go out and get to know a person with Down syndrome or any other birth defect, child or adult. The only person I know with a birth defect is a child, but I cannot wait to watch him grow up and see all he achieves. I'm very blessed to know this kid. And my credits go out to the U.S. National Library of Medicine and www.downsyndrome.com.